Tory, so good to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm very honored.
Yes, and now I'm going to go straight to the subject. And I know you're very good at this, and that's why we're here together, because I want to know your secret, and a lot of other people too, How do you overcome the fear of speaking in public?
Well, for me, a lot of what I had to do to overcome the fear of public speaking was actually to just practice. And it wasn't necessarily practicing in front of people, but I just practiced speaking out loud. I did a lot of, practice in front of the mirror. I'd walk around my house and in my room and just speak publicly so that I could hear the sound of my voice. Oftentimes, when people uh, think about public speaking, they think about, well, what the heck do I sound like publicly? Or if they're fortunate enough to have somebody that's actually like taking a video of them and they're able to watch themselves public speaking, they usually pretty mortified by it because they do some things and they may say some things that they have never imagined that they would do and say while they're publicly speaking. And so for me, a lot of it was just being comfortable with my voice, with the way it sounded, with the rate of speech, with the different tones that I could use, and really getting comfortable with my voice, so that when I got in front of other people, I felt confident with what was coming out of my mouth, regardless of what the words were. I just felt confident with the sound that was coming out of my mouth, and it started there. And from that point, I just began to focus on what I was saying. And my going in assumption, whether or not it was true, was I am the smartest person in the room about this subject. So therefore, I'm the most confident person in this room about this subject. These people are here to hear me speak about it because I have something to give them that they do not have at the present moment. And so that has really helped me um, overcome a lot of my fears with public speaking. And I'll just caveat that, that's not to say that I still don't get nervous. I typically get nervous every single time that I'm about to get up and speak publicly. But it's a different kind of nervous. It's like an excitement nervous rather than like my stomach is in my throat sort of nervous.
I resonate with this about the voice. It took me a while to really like my voice because you're not used to hear you speaking, and my accent. I was like, oh my God, I have this accent. It's like because we speak other languages, and then I say, okay, what is important is the message that I'm saying, not how I sound like.
Absolutely.
And then I love when you said that you are the smartest person in this place here because you got something to share. And so when you align yourself to the purpose of why you are there and why you need to speak to these people, that's big, and that makes you kind of get comfortable, right, in your skin and just share
Absolutely.
your message. So let me ask you this question. If you have a client or a friend or somebody that you'd like to help with the fear of speaking, what would you say to this person, or how would you coach them? What is your saying?
Um, I'd probably do a couple things. The first thing that I would do is I would invite them to speak to me publicly. And what I mean by that, particularly like if it's a client or a friend, I might ask them to get on a Zoom call with me and put your phone or your laptop somewhere where you can actually stand up wherever you are and speak as if you were speaking in public, because there's something about going through the motions that is very powerful for when you actually do the live event. So that's probably the first thing that I would do. And the reason I would do that is as a speaker myself, it would give me an opportunity to provide them on the spot feedback about some of the different mannerisms they have, what my personal opinion is on their voice, on their tone, on their rate of speech, whether or not they have long pauses. Because generally, when you're speaking publicly and you pause, it feels like an eternity, but it's really only like 1 or 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So I do that. The second thing that I would have them do is I would have them write what they want to say. That's another good way to sort of get in the mindset of speaking publicly and being comfortable with what you're saying. Because a lot of times, what I find is that the folks that I am instructing on how to speak better publicly, they don't write the same way that they speak. And I challenge them to write how they speak, because when they write how they speak, then they're going to be able to see as they're writing where some of the hiccups might be in the speech that they're wanting to give, or the presentation that they're wanting to give, because they either have some, really egregious grammatical errors, or they have a space in what they're saying that they need to fill with a word other than or so or like, which are some of the more frequent kind of word fillers for verbal pauses. So I challenge them to write what they're going to say, and then after they write what they're going to say, read it out loud to hear what it sounds like. And thirdly, what I would challenge them to do is, as much as possible, just speak out loud. And again, that's going back to what I mentioned earlier about just getting comfortable with your own voice. Because oftentimes when folks get up to speak publicly for the first time, it's not uncommon for their voices to shake, and for them to have a lot of physiological things that happen that cause their voice or their body to react in a way that is not that they're not prepared for. And so by speaking out loud and speaking often out loud, you will be able to notice very quickly that your voice is shaking, or your voice is cracking.
I have a friend actually that she brings a bunch of friends and she offers pizza, but intimate friends. I have pizza for everyone to just listen to me speaking. That's a good thing. But it's very important what you said, like to be comfortable with what you say, like write how you say it. Don't try to be like fancy or something that you are not. Just really be genuine. How you say something is how you're going to be practicing it. I like that.
Yes.
And
if I could, can I add one more?
Yeah, sure.
And so this is something that I just remembered that really works well for me and tends to work well for the folks that I train in terms of public speaking. A lot of times when you get in front of a large audience, someone will say, "Hey, look at the back of the room," or "Look at the top of a person's head." What I find is, I think, easier and is more authentic as a speaker is to make eye contact with somebody, and it helps you as a speaker to relax, because you're making eye contact with the person. Therefore, you know that at that moment in time, they are actually paying attention to what you're saying, which is what we all want as speakers. We want our message to be heard, and we want people to pay attention to what we're saying. But also it relaxes your audience as well, because your audience might be nervous for you. Your audience might not know who you are or if you're credible as a speaker. But if you can make eye contact with several people during your speech, you are now connecting with those people individually and relaxing yourself. You're putting them at ease, and you're actually giving yourself more credibility.
Yes, I totally believe that. I think it brings you out of what I call the me syndrome. Because when you are there speaking and you're not really looking at the people, you are like not connecting. You're just like you're on your me. I have to remember what am I saying next. So you get out of the present moment to try to remember and be in your mind. But when you connect, when you look at someone and you connect because you're answering a question or because you're just looking and speaking to them, actually like moving from one eye to another eye, like you're really looking, you kind of feel more of that kind of synergy, you know, in the group.
Right.
It's something that grows, and that energy will bring you more comfortable because, like you said, you are the you are the boss of the parade, and you know where you're talking, and they're there receiving that gift. So you should be confident about what you're sharing, and be more in contact with your message than with your me syndrome. You know, like, oh, if you're looking at me, I may speak wrong, or oh, my voice doesn't sound right. So when you connect to that message and you're giving that message to the people, then you can relax more. Yes?
Yes, absolutely.
That's amazing, Tory. So thank you so much for sharing this with us. And to wrap up this video, I would like to know, what is your saying, your favorite quote to share with everyone?
So I have to be honest, I love quotes. I absolutely love them. I have hundreds upon hundreds of them stored in my personal inventories. But one of my favorites is, and I can't tell you that who it's by, but one of my favorites is, we are a product of our decisions and not our circumstances. And the reason why I like that quote so much, and I have to preface it because as children, you know, we don't choose the parents that we're born to, or the environment that we're born in. But at a certain point in time in our lives, we make a conscious choice to stay in the situation that we're in. And from the time that we can make conscious choices, I personally believe that from that time forward, we become a product of our decisions and no longer a product of our circumstances. Because if you look at you know, the individual who grows up in a one parent household that barely makes ends meet, that somehow finds a way to become a self-made millionaire, and the individual who grows up in a loving two-family household that goes to the best schools, that can't seem to hold a job, what I believe is the core difference between those two people is the decisions that they've made. The decision to either stay in the environment that I'm in, or the decision to do something better for myself, to do something better for my family, to do something better for those that are relying on me. So one of my my absolute favorite sayings is, we are a product of our decisions and not our circumstances.
This is amazing. Yes, we are responsible for our choices. Thank you so much, Tory. I really appreciate your time. And for you that you're watching, if you need a coach to help you with public speaking, you have me, you have Tory, and we are here to help you. So don't hesitate in contacting us. Our information is going to be on the link below. Thank you so much for watching. Namaste.
Thank you.